I want to tell you a little story about my journey with my first 24-day Jumpstart and where I started from, just to give you a little encouragement, because I feel like sometimes, you feel alone, and when you're going to start something new, it can be a little scary, and you might be worried about, like, well, how do I hang out with my friends who are not making these same changes, and how do I interact with my husband if he's not doing the same things? And you might be nervous about like what they're gonna think about you or how your relationships will change. And sometimes just hearing someone else's story who's been through it, you're like, okay, I can do this. Or like, okay, so I'm not alone in this, there's somebody else. So before I did my first 24-day Jumpstart, I had a completely different life. I didn't own a gym. I wasn't a fitness trainer. There was nothing fit about me. I was pretty unfit. And so I had a drinking lifestyle. I worked in a bar. I drank all the time. I mean, like Cash Money motto. Have you ever heard that song, drink till you throw up? Yeah, that's me. Drink till you throw up, drink till you black out. Like, I drank all the time. And I always say that I go all in on whatever I do. And that's one thing that I went all in. I was in the bars all the time. I worked in a dive bar. This was right after Katrina. There wasn't much to do. And lots of people had a lot of free money from FEMA, and they spent it. And it was just like a party every night, drinking, smoking cigarettes. I wasn't always fit. I wasn't always a gym owner. I wasn't always this person who I was. Back then, I also had a very negative mindset. I mean, the things that I say now would have never came out of my mouth then. They would be like, who is this woman? But that person who I was would have just died to become this confident woman that I am now. Like, leading other women and teaching health and teaching self-belief. Because I didn't have any of that back then. And I didn't know that that was something that you can build and acquire. When I graduated from college, I started dabbling in fitness, and I would go to the gym, and my relationships were still the same because I would go to the gym and I would still drink. After I had my daughter, that's when my wake-up call was. Like, when I looked in the mirror and saw all the weight I gained, and I had to face that I could no longer smoke. That's not something I wanted to do around my daughter, that I could no longer be this drunk person all the time. I had somebody else relying on me, so it made me face myself. I had to look into the mirror and like see exactly who I had become and understand that it was my choices that got me here. That no one was forcing me to drink and smoke and have this negative mindset, and like, I needed to make a change. And it was the first time I had this stirring in me that like I could actually make that change, that was my responsibility and I could do that. I had a lot of weight to lose. My first before picture, I took it in a mirror at my mother-in-law's house with my phone in front of my face like that because I was mortified by the picture. Like, it made me want to throw up just looking at it, and not just because of my physical appearance, but because of the person I saw in that picture. It wasn't me. I wasn't familiar with her. Like, I wanted to be happy the way I was before that, before I'd let drinking consume my life. I wanted to feel good about myself. I just didn't recognize this person anymore. I took a picture, blacked out my face. That way, if it ever got out on social media, I could deny that was me. I'm like, that is definitely not me. Now, I proudly share that picture because the transformation I made was incredible. So when I started, the 24-day Jumpstart was right in the middle of like that really bad feeling in life. Like, I just can't tolerate this anymore. I don't feel good about myself. I just can't believe that I would be here every single day not loving who I am, not being super happy and energetic. And I'd see other fit people on social media, like, I want that. Like, I want to be happy. I want to be a positive person. So my friend reached out. Guess she could see it in me, and she's like, why don't you try this Jumpstart? So I did it, and it changed everything for me. But during it, I didn't have the support of my husband or my friends. Not that they didn't support me, but they weren't gonna make the changes with me. So when I was swapping out all of my alcohol and Diet Cokes, and I was bringing in Spark and water and green tea, my husband worked at Sam's, and he was coming home with 3 cases of Monster energy drinks a week. I'm like, I mean, not that I drank Monster, but like, can you get on the same page with me? Can you jump on board with this? And he didn't. And I had to know that I wanted this so badly and that I deserved to feel better, that I just kept going no matter what. And so then my goal was like, every time that he made an unhealthy choice, it was almost like a competition. I'm like, well, let me see how healthy I can get. And you know what happened is I eventually pulled him over to my side. And when he did his first Jumpstart, he went all in. He ate no junk food. He cut out all alcohol, and he changed his life too. And so just know that people may not be on board with you at first, and you may inspire them to make changes, and you may not inspire them to make changes, because most of my friends, they dabbled in some stuff and maybe they tried some products that I tried or came to my gym, but they didn't go all in on the same lifestyle that I wanted for myself. And that's okay. And that doesn't make me better and them worse. We just have different goals in life. We just have different things. At first, it was a little hard for them to accept that I wasn't like the party animal anymore, and I wasn't gonna be drinking and doing all these wild things. And hey, I got a daughter to take care of, and I'm gonna take care of myself so that I could be a really good mom and a healthy mom, and I'm making better choices. I'm gonna be working out now instead of going to, I might be at the gym late now instead of going to the bar. And they didn't understand that, but it wasn't for them to understand. I didn't need them to understand it for me to stay on that path. So as you go through this, if you meet some resistance with your parents, your spouse, your friends, just know that it's natural. People don't like change. People don't like change for other people. It just, they're like, well, how are we gonna be friends now? You can still be friends with the people you wanna be friends with and not have to do the same exact things. You will make it through those relationships that are meant to be in your life. The people who love you and who are for you will always be there for you. And by the end of your transformation, they're gonna be so proud of you. They might not see it at first, they might not understand it, but eventually when they see that you're happy and they love you, they're gonna be so happy that you're happy. So stick it out. Just know that it's okay for there to be some weird feelings with people at first if they're not down with your lifestyle. It's your life and you have to live it, and you have to live it up to the standards that you have for yourself. So don't shrink down to someone else's world. Maybe you don't understand the way that they live, Think about that. There's people in your life that probably make choices that you're like, I don't even get that. They still make those choices. They don't need you to understand or to make the same choices for them to live their life that way. You got this. It's gonna be the best thing you do for yourself. I'm just telling you, you're gonna have energy. You're going to love it. Stick it out. I'm proud of you.